If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or
And then we said, but did you pay?
The entertainment industry often projects a glamorous facade, red carpets, flashing lights, and billion-dollar studios that promise success through talent and hard work. However, beneath this polished surface lies a darker narrative, one told by those who have been exploited by the very system they helped create. Voices like Monique, Katt Williams, Gene Deal, and Jaguar Wright are now speaking out, exposing a world of control, manipulation, and hidden truths that challenge the carefully curated images of some of the industry's most prominent figures, including Bishop T.D. Jakes and Tyler Perry. Their stories, though distinct, converge on a common theme: a system that rewards silence and punishes those who dare to speak the truth. Monique ignited a firestorm when she revealed how powerful men in Hollywood sought to silence and underpay her. Her accusations were not isolated grievances, but part of a larger pattern, a puzzle pieced together by others who have long hinted at the industry's underbelly. Katt Williams, for instance, has been vocal for years, warning that the real power brokers in entertainment are not what they seem. He has named figures like Tyler Perry and T.D. Jakes, not for personal vendettas, but to highlight a deeper web of manipulation. Williams has consistently positioned himself as a truth-teller, unafraid to confront the industry's hypocrisy, even at the cost of his own reputation. Similarly, Gene Deal, a former bodyguard, has peeled back the curtain on the music industry, sharing first-hand accounts of what happens behind closed doors. Jaguar Wright, risking her career and safety, has also come forward with explosive allegations about the entertainment world's protected stars, further amplifying these claims. These individuals, coming from different corners of the industry, describe a consistent pattern: powerful figures using their influence to maintain control, often at the expense of others. Their stories align in unsettling ways, repeatedly pointing to the same names and tactics. Monique, Williams, Deal, and Wright have all faced smear campaigns, blackballing, and threats for speaking out, yet they persist, driven by a need to expose the truth. Their collective testimonies paint a picture of an industry that thrives on secrecy, where loyalty is demanded and dissent is crushed. This is not about petty disputes or rumors, but about a system designed to protect those at the top while exploiting those who help build their empires. T.D. Jakes and Tyler Perry, two titans of the entertainment and spiritual worlds, have built their careers on carefully crafted images of success, faith, and inspiration. Jakes, a pastor whose sermons go viral and whose books top bestseller lists, has become a symbol of modern Black spirituality. His influence extends beyond the pulpit of the Potter's House, reaching presidents, celebrities, and global audiences through film, television, and platforms like Revolt. Perry, meanwhile, is celebrated as a trailblazer who carved his own path in Hollywood, creating opportunities for Black talent when the industry refused to do so. Both men have positioned themselves as beacons of hope, proof that faith and hard work can break barriers. Yet, recent allegations suggest that their public personas may mask private compromises that undermine the values they preach. The cracks in these empires began to show as voices like Monique and Jaguar Wright challenged their narratives. Monique, in particular, has been relentless, claiming that Jakes' sudden and quiet resignation from his leadership role was not a voluntary step back but a forced exit to avoid a brewing scandal. She alleges that Jakes' association with Sean Diddy Combs, a figure now entangled in multiple lawsuits, is far more significant than a casual acquaintance. According to Monique, Jakes was not merely present at Diddy's events but deeply involved, a claim echoed by Gene Deal, who worked security at these gatherings. Deal, who has no reason to fabricate stories, asserts that Jakes' presence at Diddy's notorious parties, known for indulgence and behavior far removed from church values, raises serious questions about his integrity as a spiritual leader. Diddy's legal troubles have intensified the scrutiny. A nearly 100-page federal lawsuit filed by producer Rodney "Lil Rod" Jones accused Diddy of violent and abusive behavior, but it also mentioned Jakes, albeit indirectly. The lawsuit claims that when Cassie Ventura filed her explosive case against Diddy, he turned to Jakes for image repair, leveraging the pastor's spiritual authority and public credibility. This connection, however tangential, placed Jakes in a precarious position. Old footage of Jakes at Diddy's 53rd birthday party in Los Angeles, mingling comfortably among A-list stars, further fueled speculation. The internet, quick to dissect such moments, began circulating clips that juxtaposed Jakes' sermons on sin and redemption with his presence at events synonymous with excess. Jakes' team was swift to respond, with Derek Williams, executive vice president of TD Jakes Enterprises, insisting that the bishop's appearance at Diddy's party was a brief, respectful visit for business purposes. However, this explanation has failed to quell doubts. Why would a pastor of Jakes' stature, whose ministry emphasizes moral discipline, choose to attend an event with a reputation for debauchery? The timing of his resignation, announced shortly after Diddy's legal battles escalated, only deepened suspicions. Monique and others argue that Jakes stepped away not out of a desire for rest, but to distance himself from a potential scandal that could unravel his empire. Gene Deal's accounts add a darker layer to the story. Having worked security at Diddy's infamous white parties in the Hamptons, Deal describes an environment of blatant indulgence, where secrecy gave way to open displays of behavior that clashed with Jakes' public persona. Deal questions how a man of God could justify being in such spaces, let alone participating in them. He also hints at the existence of tapes that could soon surface, potentially exposing more about Jakes' involvement. These allegations are not mere gossip. They come from someone who witnessed these events firsthand, standing at the door as guests arrived and activities unfolded. Jakes' personal life has also come under scrutiny. Reports of his son's arrest in a Dallas park known for illicit activity and the public identification of his adopted sons as part of the LGBTQ community have raised questions about his ability to lead by example. Deal argues that a pastor whose household faces such controversies cannot credibly guide others. While Deal respects individual lifestyle choices, he finds it hypocritical for a spiritual leader to preach one standard while his personal life reflects another. These contradictions, combined with Jakes' ties to Diddy, have led many to question whether his image as a moral compass is genuine or a carefully constructed facade. Katt Williams has been equally vocal, calling out Jakes for aligning with powerful industry figures not to save souls, but to secure influence, money, and access. Williams, often dismissed as controversial, has consistently pointed to a pattern where spiritual leaders blur ethical lines for personal gain. He argues that Jakes' presence at questionable events and his silence on industry exploitation suggest complicity rather than leadership. Williams' perspective, though delivered with his signature humor, aligns with Deal's first-hand accounts, creating a compelling case that Jakes' actions do not match his words. Tyler Perry, too, faces mounting criticism. Once hailed as a champion of black storytelling, Perry is now accused of exploiting the very talent that helped build his empire. Former collaborators, including writers and actors, have spoken out about a culture of control and mistreatment on his sets. When writers for one of his hit shows demanded union contracts, Perry reportedly fired them rather than negotiate. Actors like Brandon Jay have shared stories of chaotic working conditions, with last-minute script changes and unreasonable demands that left little room for preparation or collaboration. Jay recounted an instance where Perry rewrote his character as gay without prior discussion, forcing him to adapt on the spot or risk being fired. Such experiences point to a workplace where Perry's authority is absolute and dissent is not tolerated. Perry's battles with unions further tarnish his image. In 2015, major actors' unions like SAG-AFTRA and Actors Equity banned their members from working on Perry's play Media on the Run due to his refusal to sign union contracts. This decision denied workers protections and benefits, prioritizing profit over fairness. Critics argue that Perry's refusal to collaborate with other black writers and directors perpetuates harmful stereotypes, particularly in his portrayals of black women and men. Films like A Fall from Grace and Acrimony have sparked debates about why Perry's stories rarely depict black women thriving, instead focusing on their suffering. Cultural critics like Jamila Lemieux and Spike Lee have accused Perry of reinforcing one-dimensional tropes, with Lee famously labeling his work coonery and buffoonery. The controversy surrounding Perry deepened with a tearful Instagram video from actor Christian Keys, who alluded to being targeted by a powerful industry figure who bragged about controlling young black men. While Keyes did not name Perry, his long history of working on Perry's projects led to speculation. Keyes claimed to have gathered evidence and turned it over to the police, adding fuel to questions about Perry's behind-the-scenes conduct. Additionally, Perry's frequent use of the media character has drawn criticism for mocking black matriarchs, with some arguing it strips dignity from a revered cultural figure. The pattern of colorism in his casting, where darker-skinned men often play villains while lighter-skinned characters are heroes, has also sparked debate about representation. The stories of Jakes and Perry reflect a broader Hollywood problem, one rooted in a history of sidelining black talent and boxing them into stereotypes. From Hattie McDaniel's segregation at the 1940 Oscars to the #OscarsWhite movement, the industry has long marginalized black voices. Perry and Jakes, despite their success, are now accused of perpetuating similar patterns within their own spheres of influence. Monique's ongoing revelations, combined with the mounting legal pressure on Diddy, suggest that more secrets may soon come to light. As the public digs through old footage, social media posts, and first-hand accounts, the polished images of these industry giants are beginning to crack, revealing a system where power, control, and silence reign supreme. The question now is how long these empires can withstand the growing storm of truth.